Hello and welcome back to the EDC Squirrel. Got a new one today, and this one is from Bestech. This one is the Bestech Komodo. Now, opening the box, looks like, well, there's the knife. We've got a little bit of Bestech documentation, simply the best. You got their warranty information. And that appears to be it. We also have some maintenance info. And before you start using it, always clean your knife thoroughly and give it a little oil in the pivot area. And also rub the blade with a little oil. We will do that. We will follow their instructions. So, well, put that down for now. And here's the blade. This is called, again, the Bestech Komodo. And before we get any further, we're going to go through some of the specifics on this one. First of all, the blade material on this is going to be D2 steel with a stonewashed satin finish. Material on the handle is going to be G10, and the clip is a stainless steel. Now, it is a liner lock, and this does have ceramic ball bearings in the pivot area. Overall length on this one, when open, is going to be 7.9 inches, with a closed length of 4.64 inches. And the blade length on this is going to be 3.35 inches and has a weight of 133 grams. Now, just because they mentioned it in there before you use, I'm going to go ahead and actually, no, before we do that, let's see how this is first. Now, we have thumb holes for deployment as well as a rear flipper. Ooh. That was pretty quick. Did it say it? Yeah, it does have ceramic ball bearings in the pivot. That was smooth. That was really smooth. See how the thumb hole is. Oops. Nice and fast. Not hard to use for a reverse flick. Let's see how it is with my thumb. It's funny because I'm able to use a reverse flick a lot of times a lot easier than I am actually able to use the thumb hole for what it's for, the thumb. Oop, as you can see. But very nice and fast deployment on that. I seem to have to think a little bit because it's a little smaller of a thumb hole than what I normally like to see on a knife, but otherwise, nice strong detent, by the way, too, as it's closed. But otherwise, once you overcome that defect, that blade just whips out. It's nice and smooth feeling. And on this one, all three methods are really easy to use. The rear flipper obviously probably being the easiest. Now, they do have a nice generous cutout on the scales, which are again G10, black and tan. I don't have to dig my nail in there to use the liner lock to open the blade. It's very easy to just go ahead and use the pad of my thumb. Very positive sounding lockup as well. Reversible, it appears to be. Yep. Reversible pocket clip. We have a lanyard hole as well on the handle, and we have a bit of a backliner, which takes about a third of the way on the back there, and I don't see any more standoffs other than that backliner. Now, as the blade is closed, we can see that the blade is pretty nicely centered in that well. Very positive click with the liner lock when opened. Let's hear that again. And let's see. So very positive sounding lockup, very positive lockup. I'm not feeling any movement on the blade. No wiggle at all, left or right, up or down. So nice lockup on that one. And a very positive looking lockup as well on the liner lock. Now looking at the blade itself, we have up here, let me wipe that down a little bit. Because we've got a little smudgy for my fingers. There we go. So looking a little closer at that blade, we've got the Bestech logo there. And on the other side, see anything? Oh, we have D2 etched on the blade there. So really nice blade shape on this one. We have some jimping on the spine here, and it feels like there's a little bit, like a very hint of a ramp up upwards before finally going back down as a drop point blade. A good amount of swedging on the spine. So the jimping is nice and positive. It's aggressive without being overly aggressive, allowing me to get some good purchase on that blade with my thumb. The handle actually feels really good in the hand. It's kind of a largish handle. I can get an easy gorilla grip on this one, as well as how I normally hold the blade, having my thumb on the jimping. You've got a nice kind of like swell here in the belly where your fingers go, making that feel really nice in the hand. It feels very ergonomic. You don't have much of a finger choil here, more of a sharpening choil. There's enough of a lip, though, on that flipper once it's open that I can kind of rest my finger on that little, I guess you could say, horn. And that gives me very precise control over the blade. So I like the way that actually feels. It's not something that I normally do. I prefer a much larger finger choil, but I like how they have this, how the reverse or the rear flipper, I like how it comes out a little bit. You can kind of use that as a finger rest to allow for finer control. But very comfortable handle, somewhat neutral. You can hold it in different grips without it feeling awkward. The pocket clip itself doesn't ramp back down, but it's not a very large ramp up to begin with on the end. So hopefully that'll help prevent it from snagging anything while it's in your pocket if you brush up against anything. Otherwise, a very nice feeling handle on this one. Again, super smooth, very easy to deploy, very quick to deploy. Let's see how that edge is with some magazine paper. This is out of the box. Haven't done any finishing or anything to this, like any honing or anything. Let's see how that feels. Ooh. Very nice feeling cuts. Very smooth feeling cuts. Almost like it just sort of swims through the paper. And that's going from choil to the very tip. Yeah, very smooth feeling, very nice sounding. I love the sound of almost like an ASMR thing. I love the sound of that going through the paper. Taking a little closer look at the edge, I'm not feeling anything. I'm not seeing much in terms of debris that was on the very edge. Little gnat go. So not much debris there at all, meaning that it's cutting really nicely through that paper and not tearing through the paper. It's not like a mirror polish, but a very well done factory edge on this one. And being a D2 steel, that should hold that edge for a decent amount of time before ever really needing to be honed or resharpened. And I do like the way this appears to, let's see here, because I'm not seeing any like stop pin or anything that's hitting like I've seen on some Civivi models where it'll hit like uh it'll stop it using the choil. It appears to be, where's the stop pin on this? Oh, the stop pin is on the back. Okay, cool. So the stop pin is right there. That stops the blade in either the open or the closed position. Let's go ahead and put some oil in there right now, like they had suggested. I'll put one drop on either side onto the bearings. And we'll work that around a little bit. And D2 steel is not a stainless steel. It's considered like maybe a semi-stainless steel. So another thing I'm going to do is apply some wicked wax to the blade. and that's just to protect it from the elements. I do try to keep pretty good care of my knives and keep them in a good environment, but even stainless steel, if not looked after, will eventually corrode. It might take a heck of a longer time than other steels, but I've left stainless steels in long-term storage in like a bad environment, like a garage or storage unit by accident, and I've seen them corrode surprisingly and some pretty badly. Uh, and I noted that a lot of times it's due to dust that settles on the blade, and then that dust itself collects moisture and sits there long enough, you end up with a lot of spotting. And that occurs even on stainless steel blades if left there long enough. And I've had blades left there long enough where the spotting was pretty horrendous. So I try to take as best care of my knives as possible. So let's see how that feels. We've worked the oil in there a little bit. Still nice and smooth, really quick. I'm not feeling much of a difference having put the KPL in the pivot. I know I still like to do that with every knife that I get anyway. My primary reason for doing that for knives isn't so much about protecting it from corrosion, but more so about preventing premature wear, because you do have bearings in there that is a moving mechanical part of the knife, and there's a lot of metal rubbing on metal or bearings. So I like to put a little oil, regardless of the knife, uh, in the pivot area, just to help prevent premature wear on those moving parts. So I'm not really feeling any difference having placed oil in there, but at least I'm confident that that will help prevent any premature wear. Otherwise, it still feels pretty good. It still feels very, very smooth and very quick on the deployment. Komodo. Very nice blade. I have a number of Bestechs. I have a number of their higher end Bestechs, and I was really curious about their budget line. Now I know Bestech has a budget line called Bestech Man, like their cicada wings, others. Excuse me. But I did notice that they have some lower price offerings still with the Bestech logo and Bestech name, and that's what I was curious about. So that's why I picked this one up, and I am not disappointed. While granted, it might have budget minded materials like the G10, for example, the D2, and even even with those materials, I still feel it in the craftsmanship, in the build quality. I still feel Bestech in there, and I'm very impressed with, regardless of how similar or simple this knife may be in the eyes of some people, I'm still very impressed with how well this works, how good the finishing job was on it, how nice and smooth the action is on this one. I'm really glad that they made the pocket clip reversible. They still had space to include a lanyard hole in there. Very, very ergonomic grip, easy to use liner lock. I'm quite impressed with this one. Probably the only thing I could say on this that's not even, maybe just slightly, I don't even know if I call it negative. It's got a really good detent on this one, up to the point of where it could be a bit of a problem if you're not used to reverse flicking a blade. I'm noticing that I'm having to use a considerable amount of force to get that blade to reverse flick, and if I'm not right in the correct spot, it can be really hard to reverse flick or spidey flick this blade. But once you have your thumb or your finger in the right spot and you've been doing it for a little while, it becomes much easier to do. But it is a pretty strong detent. But at the very least, I don't have to worry about that blade flinging out, even with some shaking. That blade is not going to go anywhere. So yeah, very positive detent on that one. That does make the rear flipper probably the easiest way to deploy this blade because of the strength of that detent. or the thumb hole using your thumb is also another way. Reverse flicking might be a little harder for those that like to reverse flick, unless you happen to have a very strong middle finger. So, otherwise, excellent, excellent budget knife from Bestech. This one, if I look on their website, was going at $52. Now, I got mine from Chasing Blades on Whatnot. I believe I might have gotten it maybe for a little less. I don't recall. I'll have to check. But I know on Bestech's website, they're going for 52. You can also check Chasing Blades on Whatnot, or you can check their website at unwaverengendeavors.com, and they may have it available on their website. Otherwise, you can hit up one of their shows on Whatnot, and it's possible you might be able to get a good deal there on this particular knife. But otherwise, they do have this one at 52. I don't know if they have any other color options. Oh, they do have some other color options from Bestech. I am seeing I've got the black and tan. It looks like they have a black and green in G2. They have a black and orange where you've got black here, and then you got orange where my tan would be. Again, G10. And you also have this in a black and green with a blacked out blade, and the black and orange also with a blackout blade. And they all are going, from the looks of it, the same price. Yeah, $52 even on the Bestech website. So if you want to check them out, you can find them there, or it's possible you can find them at unwaverengendeavors.com, or even Chasing Blades on Whatnot, which I do highly recommend, to be quite honest. But really impressive budget offering from Bestech. It still has the Bestech name. I have to admit, really nice feeling, really quick and smooth. Let me know what you think. Do you have one of these from Bestech? Let me know how you feel about it, if you have one or if you're looking into getting one. And if you liked what you saw, please drop a like down below. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and that way you'll get notified as soon as I drop down a new video. But really impressive offering. I'm really happy with it. Really glad I got it. Go check them out. And again, let me know what you think in the comments below. But thanks for being here. Thanks for all your support, and hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.